Good morning. Unfortunately, I think we're seeing the end of the light. That's not a metaphor for anything, not football related. I think we're seeing the end of the light. My light appears to be absolutely giving up. It might flicker in a second. There you go. It's like Stranger Things in here. It's just dying a death. Apologies. We're going to have to do without the light. Hang on, I'm going to try and get it one more time. No. We'll see how long it lasts. How are we all doing? Good morning. It is, God, I'm saying that a lot this year. It's match day. I know, people. I know. R.I.P. to the light. R.I.P. to the light. It's okay. The second. We'll see how it goes. R.I.P. to the light. And yeah, good morning to all you lot. It is match day. Home to Prague. 1 second. Let me sort of stand me out. 1 second. Well, I'm having a no, that's not yours to play with. Oh my gosh, he's a bloody nightmare, this puppy. So it's match day. Prague at home, a game in which we probably should be winning. Again, what I'm not going to do is I'm never going to go, oh my God, 5-0, 6-0, because I do feel that sometimes we do this in England where we think that any team that doesn't play in a good league is just automatically crap. Now they could be, but we've seen them be beaten well by people like Arsenal, and we've seen them be defensively solid against people like Atalanta and Athletic Bilbao. So listen, a game I think we should win. Let me caveat and say that immediately. But I do think that I see this like when we play Fulhams and teams like this and Palace, everyone goes 4-0, 4-0, 4-0. I genuinely don't think we're that team. Now, I'm not saying we can't be tonight, but listen, just a nice, solid win is what I think we need to see. During the show, we're going to have a look at the Champions League table as well. Currently, Spurs sit 16th, but 2 points off the top 8. So 3 games to play, 2 games at home. Can we qualify in the top 8? I don't know. I going into this, I said that I think we're going to be in that next 24. I think we're going to be in the next 16 that play off, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. There's some top teams across Europe, but we'll see. Who knows? Beat Prague. If we can find the win against Dortmund, you leave yourself with a chance, don't you? But listen, Dortmund are no mugs. Frankfurt away. We saw last year, it's not an easy game. We had to put 10 men behind the ball to beat Frankfurt. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But we're not in the worst position in the world when it comes to the Champions League. We are, listen, it's like the Premier League, and we'll look at the table in a minute. It's all so close, right? I mean, if you actually look at the difference between where we are in 16th, we are 2 points from not being in the playoffs at all, and 2 points from being automatic. And it's so tight. It's so tough in there. It's pretty much the same with the Premier League, right? When you look at the Premier League table, look how tight it is. I think something like 4th to 12th is separated by like 4 points or something like that. It's ridiculous. And that's why I know loads of people, they lose their mind. Everyone losing their minds. It's why I don't. It's why I'm not going to. What I will say just quickly, if anybody does see someone called Soul Sniper Gaming in the chat, please let me know, because that person I need to block them. Comes into my chat every day talking football. And then the moment I went in last night for the last 45 minutes with a Spurs 5, oh my God, the abuse. Fuck you. Fuck off, Savva. I was like, whoa. Wow. Wow. Last night really showed me something. Like when I'm not on my own channel, the comments are vile. People just want to say whatever they want. Just vile. Horrible people like Matt and Soul Sniper Gaming just digging and digging and digging. Just, it didn't seem to matter what I said. people get really upset. They're like, do you want to see Bergvall in the 8? No, I don't think he's an 8. I think he's more of an advanced player. Oh, fuck off. You don't know football. Whoa. What happened to a little bit of adult grown-up chat and critiquing a footballer? And I noticed it the other night, right? I noticed it from people in the chat. I mean, James Flower had his opinion about Mawani. He wasn't rude to anyone. And it was just, everyone just immediately started getting rude. And I think, for what? What? Because he's saying he wants to see more from Mawani because he doesn't think he's done enough. Honestly, it's so strange. We've got a very childish set of, it's not just Spurs. It feels like there's a lot of childish fans all across YouTube. The same fans. The moment we concede a goal, manager out. This is crap. Get him out. And those fans are nowhere to be seen when you win and when you go 1-0 up. It's a very strange world. And I'll tell you what I find not upsetting as in like, oh, I'm going to cry, but what I find a bit sad about it is it never used to be like this. Ellie, you'll say it never used to be like this. You used to be able to go down the pub and someone would go, I don't know, Ellie, let me use an example from the early 90s. Somebody would say, oh, I don't rate Stefan Freund, right? And somebody else would turn around and go, oh, no, I actually really like Stefan Freund. But there'd be none of this. You're a mug. You're a twat. You don't know football. You hate everyone. It's utter madness. Like madness, I'm telling you. Listen, it's as though people, honestly, on YouTube, seem to have this real issue actually listening to what's being said. Listening. They don't want an actual football conversation. What they want is they want fans that turn around and go, everybody's amazing. Every Spurs player is amazing. And that's great. But let's assume we said that. Let's play the hypothetical game of every Spurs player you have to rate. If I have to rate every Spurs player, why do I need Spurs to have transfer windows? If I have to rate every Spurs player, why aren't we top of the league? If I have to think every Spurs player is great, why don't we win week in, week out? And this is what I find truly funny. It doesn't matter whether people want to debate Gray, Bergvall, Sarr, Johnson, Richarlison, Adogi, Porro, Bentancur, Danso, Odeber. Everybody sticks up for these players as, oh, you don't know a player, give them time. Cool. So then what are we worried about? If we want to give every player time and we think every player is good, then why do we need transfer windows? Just scrap transfer windows. We don't need a transfer window because what people are telling me is they don't need better, right? And I get a lot of stick about my Bergvall take. And it's funny because when Bergvall does nothing for 4 or 5 games, no one says anything. Bergvall does a little flick or a great pass in a game and everyone goes, oh my God, look how good he is. I thought he was excellent. It's like, honestly, I you know what? I played back the show last night. The last half an hour of the show, I played back when I got into bed and I showed my wife and I said, look at the comment section and listen to what I'm actually saying. And I said, it just doesn't add up. Like these people are going mad and I've not actually said anything negative. Not someone in the chat yesterday. This was hilarious. I said, listen, I don't think we should go games thinking it's good 4 or 5-0. I don't think we're that team yet. And then I was asked my score prediction. I said, yeah, I think we'll beat them 3-1. I don't think it will be this landslide victory people think it will. It doesn't mean it won't be, by the way. And the next person in the chat went, so Savva thinks it will be a tough game, but then says we'll win. What a dickhead. You're like, whoa, hang on. What? Like what? Anyway, I just had to get off my chest. I think, and it kind of proved to me why I don't really go on many other shows. It just feels disgusting. It's just absolutely disgusting. There are people in the chat going, this bald guy chat shit, talking about Lubo. And you're like, well, what's that got to do with his hair? Or, you know, like this Greek bloke, Stel. I'm just sitting there going, what the fuck are we doing? We're talking about footballers running around a pitch here. We're not talking about someone's nose or their beard or their bald head or what are we talking about? Talking about beautiful people with lovely beards and a lovely hair, a lovely head of hair.
I thought you were talking about me there, especially when you mentioned the nose. I thought, bloody hell, what an entrance.
No, do you know what? I'm loving how wispy your beard is. It's wispy.
Mate,
I like it.
Mate, it's Ilana's calling it grey. I'm calling it silver or salt and pepper.
I believe that it's called is it being Clooney-fied? As in George Clooney.
Mate, I would take that. I would take that in a heartbeat. I will take that in a heartbeat.
Do you know what? Somebody on one of my shows last week went, "Oh, Sav, your hairline's not what it was when you first started YouTube." And I was like,
mate,
compared to a lot of my mates, I feel like I'm hanging on. I'm doing all right.
Mate, I can't remember the last time I had this much hair on me. I want to get rid of it. Let's just say my mother's not keen of a skinhead. So
fair enough.
So for the peace, I'm being Switzerland at home at the moment.
Do you know what? My mum despised, before she passed away, my mum despised my brothers having tattoos. I don't have any, right? So I was always in the good book. And when my mum passed away, I remember sitting in the church, right? We're doing the funeral, right? And my brother leans into me and goes, like, he's got a tear down his eye, and he goes, "At least I can get more tattoos without asking permission." I was like, yeah, sure, that's good. Yeah, well done. Anyway, we digress. Brian, how are you, sir? Are you well?
I'm getting there. I had a bit of a rough few weeks, like I said to you behind the seat or privately, but we're getting there. We are getting there, and life is getting good, or life will be back to normal, and Spurs are back, so it's all good, brother.
Do you know what? Don't you think this season? First of all, I'm glad things. I know we all have tough periods, and I know a lot of people don't see when people are going through tough periods. And I come on it every day and go, "Da-da, look," and I've got shit going on, but I'm really happy that you're going through the other side. Look, it feels like Spurs are never away at the moment. Like this season, it's felt like, apart from those horrible international breaks, which I fucking can't stand. I'll be honest, I don't care about England playing Latvia. I just don't care that we beat Latvia 5-0. Every 3 days, the games are coming thick and fast, like Brian, and this week is no exception. We played Saturday. We finished Saturday evening. We're here Tuesday night. Come on, puppy. Come on. My puppy is going like that because he heard your. That's all right. No worries. What are you thinking tonight? Prague, off the back of the draw with Newcastle. Yeah. Win versus Brentford. The fans are going to be expectant, right? Expectant, dominant. Spurs win, attacking football. Xavi Simons must play. He's now after being written off by the fan base, he's the saviour. What are you making of today?
Yeah, mate. Listen, also you got the Heung-min Son appearance, haven't you? So the ground is going to be buzzing. The ground is going to be full of anticipation and expectancy. Daisy, good girl.
Is your
yeah,
going to go at me?
No, I think my sister's dog now. I think it's about 13 weeks. And wow. It can climb onto the sofa now and see all the birds flying about. So it's all new to her.
What is it? What breed?
It's a cocker. Wait a minute. I'll make it.
Yeah, come on. Yeah, everyone wants to see a puppy. Yeah, everyone wants to see a puppy.
Here's Daisy. 1 second. Here she is.
Oh, what a fluffy thing that is. Hello, Daisy.
She's a little cockapoo. She's beautiful. Lovely. She's very, very high maintenance, but she looks very much like the dog from Lady and the Tramp, but not the Tramp. She looks like the lady.
Okay, good. Look, what a beautiful dog.
She's wanted some attention. There you go. You've had your attention.
A bloody nightmare to bath. That's a lot of straggly hair but what a cute puppy.
It's always good being the uncle, mate, because they do all the hard stuff. They do all the hard stuff and you get the good stuff. But getting back to Spurs.
Yeah, back to Spurs.
I expect kind of a Copenhagen style performance. Obviously, after the Brentford game, it brought a lot of positivity about the style of play, the way we played. I expect him to make some changes today. Not major. I think he's got the right I think now he's got the right formula, as in way to play. But I think he may make a couple of changes. I want to see that team that we saw Saturday more in the Premier League than I do the Champions League. Because I think if he makes a couple of changes, Simmons has to start tonight. Simmons has to start. We know Porro and Spence will start because of the doggy news. So there's certain players that will play that have to play. But I think
we might see a Ben Davies rare appearance at left back to give, or maybe Spencer right back Davies. I'm not saying I want to see that, Brian, but
could be. I mean, listen, it could be. I mean, Champions League, and let's face it, our homes. We know there's no easy games in the Champions League, or there shouldn't be, because they're all there in their own right. But there is a game here where you could rotate a couple. Like we don't know about Mawani. Mawani, you could have Odebear left wing, for example. So there's some changes. What I want to see from Tottenham today is the same kind of output and style of play, and on the front foot from minute 1 to minute 90 to show that this is going to continue. Because I think the Forest game is huge. And I think hopefully he goes back to the team we saw Saturday on Sunday.
Yeah. It's thing is, I know our fan base so well, Brian, that if we were to win tonight 2-0 and it's not this 4-0 massacre with 35 shots on goal, it won't be enough for our fans. For me, I'll be honest, I want to keep this. I don't know if you can call 2 games a run, but I want to keep this positivity going. Mm-hmm. You know, good point at Newcastle, really good win at Brentford. And let's be fair, Brentford should have been 5 or 6, shouldn't it? I mean,
at least
how we did not bury more chances is beyond me. James Flower will just want to blame Mawani, but you know,
I think Mawani was excellent.
Well, it's an interesting. We'll talk about him in a minute, because basically what happened was I was backstage, right, at the Spurs review, which you were desperately trying to join, and I said, you know, like, what do we want to? I said it was very positive yesterday. So are there anything you want to talk about which might be a little bit controversial, because everyone wants to hear a little bit of something.
Yeah.
And I wasn't expecting it, but it was, Mawani. I was, okay. And it's interesting. The Mawani debate is one that, let's have it now. Let's have it now, Brian. It's an interesting one, right? Because there's 2 schools of thought, right? I think Mawani is a really good footballer, right? Do I think he's prolific enough? I've seen spells in his career where he's prolific, but is he a guy that's going to rattle them in, week out? I don't know. The other side to this is, when you buy a player, they get a bit more leeway, right? Yeah. Because you go, okay, right, like we bought Xavi Simons. He's not here for 4 months. He's here for 5-6 years, hopefully.
Yep.
Mawani's different, right? Because you bought him in on loan, and the idea of a loan, right, is how can you help us now? Like, we're not going to bring anyone in January and go, well, go on, have January, February, and March to settle in. It's hit the ground running. So where are you with Mawani? Do you understand he doesn't score enough, or are you just thinking he's getting up to speed and he's not played a lot of minutes? Where are you with Mawani?
Right. So obviously Mawani came in last minute deal because Solanke and the longest injury. That's going to be the closest injury, but we'll be close. So anyway, that's another subject completely.
Okay, go on.
Mawani came in, and I instantly thought, right, that's our striker. That's our number 9.
Sure.
He is now going to be the number 9 that takes us forward. Obviously, then got the dead leg, the longest dead leg ever. Then he came on against Newcastle in the Carabao Cup, and he looked bright. And obviously, he went on that mazy little run, and the referee got in the way or whatever happened. I was like, oh, I like your directness. Yeah. Then I thought, against Copenhagen, he was outstanding. Should have scored 2 goals. Sure. But his movement, everything, and also his touchdown for Odebear's goal, that was like Berbatov-esque.
High praise.
And we've seen flashes of him going forward. Obviously, he got a couple against PSG.
Yeah.
But what I love about him on the left wing is his work rate. Like, defensively, he was everywhere. He has the beating of his man. He wants to drive and go forward. And it's enabled Richie, obviously, to, however people feel about Richie, he's scoring. So I think Mawani is actually better for us on the left than central. I think he should have had a few more goals in the Premier League. I think he should have had a few more in the Premier League, especially that one he should have scored against Brentford with that header.
Sure.
But I think what he's doing on the left wing, I'm very impressed with it. Yes, he needs goals. There's no denying it. He's got him in the Champions League, not the Premier League.
Sure.
But the attributes that I didn't put with him when we bought him have impressed me more than the reason that we bought him, if you know what I mean. He's impressed me in that. I think his performance on Sunday went very much under the radar.
Yeah, do you know what? It's interesting. I like him as a player. I do. And I get the goals argument, but I don't know if you saw the debate on Sunday night, and then, you know, when Sean came on and he was very much like going, "Oh, listen, I love him," and James was like, "No, he's crap," all this. I mean, I've had time to compute, and you know, I know we're not allowed in football to reassess and evaluate, but I look at it like this. I think if Spurs had anything about them, Brian, I think as a fan base, we sit and debate, should it be Mawani? Should it be, I won't say Ivan Toney after the news in the last 24 hours.
Yeah.
I think, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, people, just Google Ivan Toney last 24 hours. We say, should it be Mawani? Should it be Gonzalo Ramos? Should it be Pavlidis of Benfica? Should it? We can do that. But I'll be honest, Brian, where I want to see Spurs is if we've got anything about us, you get Mawani, you can get another one. Like, if we've got anything about us, you shift on Richarlison. I'm not saying he's not doing well at the moment, but you shift him on. You get rid of Valise. You move Scarlett on. You get Mawani. You get another one. You upskill. We seem to have this thing where, and this is mainly because of the way our recruitment's been for years, Brian, we always talk in ones. You know, Arsenal went out this window and it was like, right, what backup centre half shall we get? I know, we'll buy two. Like, fine. So are you on that front with me, or do you think there's enough room for more than one striker? Am I overrating Spurs' ability? What do you reckon?
I think, I mean, this goes into January. I think what we desperately need, like as in priorities, is a left-footed left back, because we can't rely on Destiny anymore. As much as I love, I rate Destiny so highly, but we cannot keep him fit. We just cannot keep him fit. I think we need a number 8. I've been against signing Conor Gallagher in the past. I think he would be absolutely perfect.
Me too.
I mean, I don't know if it was my hatred for Chelsea but I loved him at Crystal Palace. But when we were going for him, or supposedly going for him with Ange, I was like, please no. Because I didn't see it I totally see it with Thomas Frank. I think him or Ruben Neves, or like a Wharton, not that we get a Wharton, or a MGW in the 8 revolutionises what we do, and a left winger. I think if we get another left winger, could Mawani go there? It depends if they see Mawani as a left winger and he's going to be the number 1 left winger, then you go for another striker. But if they want to put him as a striker, then we desperately need another left winger. But I think Mawani is going to grow into that left wing role. I'm really excited with what I've seen from him on the left wing. So I think
it allows for nuances. And what I mean by that is, because he's not a traditional left winger that's going to get the ball, beat a man, and his sole job is to whip crosses in. It allows him and Richarlison to alternate. You know, Richie can pull out left, knowing that comfortably Mawani's natural game will be to drift into the middle and vice versa.
Simmons could drift there as well, buddy, and both of them could be forwards. Yeah. So you got that as well.
Absolutely. And James Maddison is naturally somebody that he plays as the 10, drifts out wide. Kudus is somebody that naturally drifts. We've got a lot of naturally drifty players. And I don't mind that, because you think for years, this is what Man City have had. I'm not saying we're Man City. I know what people in the chat are like. But naturally, Man City have had a lot of Gundogans, Bernardo Silvas, David Silvas. These players naturally, De Bruyne, these players naturally are central, but drift anywhere. They find the pockets of space. They don't mind pulling out wide. Look now, Ryan Cherky. Foden. These boys are naturally central, but they drift out wide. It's what we need. But I think you made a good point there. For me, I have said a number of times, my chat probably really find me boring at this stage, Brian. I said I think we need to completely revamp the midfield area, right? And I think that, if you're going to have 6 midfielders in a football club, 5-6 midfielders, I think you've got to keep it fresh. You've got to keep rotating. I think we need a top ball playing number 8. And I agree 100% with you. I think the absolute perfect player to complement that, to go into the squad, would be a Conor Gallagher. I want a ball playing 8 that says, hey, I'll do everything. And Gallagher, box to box, would be absolutely superb. He has got the best engine I think I've seen of a midfielder other than Kante. He's everywhere. He's good at tackling. He scores goals. His ball recovery is excellent. He's a leader. He's a leader of men. He's a captain. Right? Never seems to be injured. He gets assists. He drives forward with it. I look at that and go, if that's one of my 4 or 5 centre mids for a season, I'm happy. That's where I am with him.
You're completely right. Like I said, I didn't want him during the time with Ange, and but there's times where you've got to look back and say, do you know what, with this style of play and what we're trying to do, there may be players that didn't suit a system before. Like we've experienced so many times, and Sean and I have discussed it a load of times when I've been on his shows in the past, when I've spoken about that we've bought managers that have been defensive and bought loads of defensive players, then bought loads of an attacking manager. We've got to get rid of the defensive to bring in the attack. There's been so much mix and match and overlap on players playing different systems. But I honestly believe Conor Gallagher in this system and the way we play, especially like you look against the Brentford game. And one of the most disappointing things that I really was disappointed that I couldn't come on Sunday because for some reason my connection went back to the 1950s. Was I think, and you know what I'm going to say, I wish I could have been with Ian because I think Archie Gray was brilliant on Saturday. I really, really do. I thought, mate,
we talked about this on WhatsApp.
You and me differ on that. We differ, but I think he played. He looked so calm, so composed. He was doing what he needed to do. He wasn't just listen. It wasn't an all-action packed. Oh my God, look at he ran the show, but he did everything that he needed to, and he done it well. And I think it was his best game in a Spurs shirt by a country mile.
I think it was his best game. I think it was the ideal game for him. It was a game where we had all the ball, and he was allowed to just get it and make those easy passes. I want to see him against better midfields. I want to see him against a midfield where it's more of a 50-50 battle. By the way, can I just say, because I'm seeing a lot of comments in the chat, it's like people don't listen. I've not said Conor Gallagher is the only one midfielder I want to bring into Spurs to solve our midfield issues. I think every set of midfielders, right? Every club that has 5 or 6 midfielders, you need different skill sets from those midfielders. And I think the problem at the moment that we've got is I don't think we've got enough. I don't think we've got enough variety in what we've got. I think we've got a lot of runners with the ball and not enough people. I want people that can tackle. I want people that are box to box, people that are decent with the ball. I never said, by the way, it's so crazy, right? I never said, oh my God, I want Conor Gallagher. He's the only midfielder I want to buy. I'd love to buy a Gallagher and a Wharton, for example, or a Gallagher and a Stiller. But I just think you're going to have to replace Basuma, right? He's going. We need to replace him. Bentancur at some stage is going to go. Question marks over whether Papa Sarr is going to be the guy. So for me, I think you need a lot of different, and this is what frustrates me, Brian, about football fans. When you try and have this conversation about what's needed overall, I am the one YouTuber who talks about this more than anyone in this need for a ball-playing number 8. I am not suggesting that Conor Gallagher be our ball-playing number 8, but I think put him alongside a ball-playing number 8. People have got to remember, in a season where you're playing up to 60 games of football, you need options, Brian. We need options. So, listen, he's not oh my God, this is my number 1 transfer, but I'd take him in a heartbeat. If he's good enough for Atletico Madrid, he's good enough for Tottenham Hotspur. Sorry.
Well, no, you mentioned, like you said, what you look at it, when you look at some of our midfielders, they're only good. Their main attribute is one thing that they're really, really good at. And the rest, they're kind of lower down in the attribute levels. Conor Gallagher, as much as I hate to say it, and I always say when I'm wrong, he's got a lot of attributes that he is very, very good at. Very, very good at a very high level. Same as Ruben Neves, same as a Morgan Gibbs-White, same as an Adam Wharton. These players have got more than one. Like if you speak about Pape Matar, you go, right, he's got a good engine. That's like he's got a good engine. I'd say you could say with Bergvall, he's good at driving forward with the ball, but he's still, listen, I think Bergvall's got a big future, but I think that he's still got to develop. We need some midfielders that have got more than one attribute that they have at a very high level. That's not discrediting. Bringing in a Gallagher, a Neves will help improve these players as well. That's what it's about, to make this competition hard, make it harder to get into this first team, and make the youngsters and the fringe team train harder, want to do better, and give the manager a headache. And I just hope in January we do bring one of those players we've mentioned in.
Do you know the thing is, and again, apologies, I always use Aston Villa as the example of this. If you actually look at what Aston Villa have gone and done in their midfield, right? If you look at those players, they've gone and brought in a John McGinn, who is your all-action, box-to-box, good on the ball, loves tackling, leader. You've got, they've gone and got Yuri Tillemans, who is a little bit more of the technical ability, get on the ball, dictate passes. You know, he's the controller. You've then got Onana, who is your big, powerful destroyer, great athlete, good engine, back and forth. And then you've got Kamara, who's got a bit of all of that. They've got 4 very capable centre mids that you can drop in and rotate a mix that all have more than one attribute. And you're right. My problem is, I think Gray has one attribute at the moment. So at the moment, before everyone loses their mind. At the moment, I see his one attribute is the nice 5-yard pass when no one's around him. Bergvall, for me, his one attribute is driving with the ball.
Yep.
Sarr's attribute for me is looking like a headless chicken and running around, right? Bentancur's attribute is putting out fires. So we don't have none of those midfielders for me. I go, yeah, you're an all-round midfielder. The way a Moussa Dembele was, right? A Scott Parker. They had strings to their bow. And I think that we've got to, in the next year or so, start evolving that. This isn't about one midfielder. We need to evolve that midfield and give it strings to the bow, is what I would say.
Correct. Listen, I'm totally with you. Obviously, we know January is going to be big for Tottenham for multiple reasons, not because we just need players. It's Enix's first chance, blah, 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 blah. But there's definitely, like we were just saying, with the who we need to bring in, obviously.
That's all right. Don't worry.
Yeah, she knows she's on. She knows she's on TV
man,
now.
you can hear it.
Yeah, she knows she's on TV now. So you've got, like I said, we definitely.
What? Sorry, Scotty Parker was quality.
Scotty Parker for the 2 seasons was unbelievable.
What are we doing here? Scotty Parker was a wonderful footballer. Sorry, Bride. Sorry.
Scotty Parker was a wonderful footballer that should have been at Spurs a lot longer, a long time before we actually got him. But we definitely need, I think, a left-footed left back is a priority. I mean, Spence was brilliant on Saturday. Spence was fantastic. But that was the first time we'd seen him proper down the left, going hell for leather, wasn't it? Where he just non-stop using his left foot, getting forward. But we can't keep using him and Porro over and over and over again.
Agreed.
We just can't. We need a reliable left-footed left back. We need a central midfielder and a left winger. Unless Mawani is the left winger, then it's a striker for me. Can we do it in January? We'll see.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, moving on to the left back conversation, it's definitely one that needs to be had, right? First and foremost, Jed Spence is a right back.
Yep.
We all forget that, right? He's a right back who's very capable of playing left back, but it's not his natural game, right? It's not. Right. And as we said the other night, there's pros and cons to it. With inverted wingers, it's very good because it means they're coming into Spence's strongest foot, the right. Yeah. But on the outside, it doesn't allow for the automatic left foot cross. And there's always a hesitation of, do I go on the outside or do I drive centrally? For me, I am going against the grain with a lot of Spurs fans here. I'm not the biggest fan of Destiny Udogie. Sorry. again, I'm really sorry. I feel like Destiny Udogie, and I need the people in the chat to listen to me very carefully here because they're going to just pretend what I've said here, not what I've actually said. I think Destiny Udogie looks like he's got all the attributes aesthetically to be a top left back. He's strong, he's powerful, he's quick. But for me, I don't see that he's good going forward or that he's actually very good defensively. And he seems to be stuck in this halfway house for me. And what's not helped him development-wise is for the last 2 nights, he's constantly injured. He's constantly injured. Yep. And for me, I think we need to go and get a left back that is left-footed. That is, do you know what we need? I think we need a player like, I'm not saying this guy just because people are going mad. I think we need somebody like a Digne. I think we need somebody like, I know he's injured, a Robinson. Solid Premier League players, don't have to be world beaters, that get up and back, like getting in the tackle, and want to whip crosses in. I think that ilk of player, I'm not saying those two, somebody said there, a Lewis Hall type. I think we need to scout the world for a solid left-footed left back that wants to get up and back, someone like a Tyreek Mitchell, I think we need that sort of a player, Brian.
I actually think as well, Joe, what you and I were, and so is Ben Kaufman, who's in the chat, are huge fans of Anthony Robinson at Fulham, but obviously he's been injury prone for ages.
Yeah.
I actually think someone as well that I would love to see at the club and has worked with Thomas. I would love to see a Rico Henry.
Yeah. He had a big injury though, didn't he?
He had a big injury last season. He's making his way back. He came on for the second half for us, but he is a very, very good, powerful, strong left back that loves to defend and gets forward. Like I said, I can see there's mixed reactions with Destiny. I think when he came back this season against Brighton, he had those few games, then came back and obviously against Copenhagen and against United. I think we look so much more balanced with a natural left-footed left back. And I think without these injuries, he would have kicked on. But we can see now that there is an issue there and he just cannot stay fit. And it's a huge problem when he's your only naturally left-footed left back. It's a massive problem. So whether he'd been brilliant or not, we need to go get another left back in, regardless.
Yeah, I completely agree. I just think for me, he's. I think this was a really good. This was a really good comment from Rain, in my opinion. Big up, Rain. Said Udogie is a classic Spurs young signing. He said add in Sarantel here. Physical attributes have been used as an indicator of talent ceiling, but this approach has been proven to be trash. Rain, I agree, because I think those 3 players you've mentioned there, for me, technically, there's not enough. Physically, when you look, Sarr is, I'm not saying he's powerful, but he's a tall lad, gets about, good engine. Tell is another one. Udogie, powerful, gets up and back, but I don't really know what he does. But Dylan, I do feel this is a little bit harsh. I mean, when you're saying it's criminal that Thomas Frank didn't look for a quality left back, I mean, first and foremost, we have no idea what Thomas Frank asked for. Can we be honest? We have no idea, Dylan, what Thomas Frank asked for. Second of all, in the window, we needed right winger, DM, left winger, striker, a number 8, left back, centre back. We didn't get a lot of it, right? Are you clearly, sorry, Dylan, are you telling me that Thomas Frank doesn't want loads and loads more at this club? Thomas Frank came out in the summer, Dylan. Sorry, I can't. It's amazing how it all gets blamed on the manager. Thomas Frank came out in the window, didn't he, with about a month to go, and just said, look, at the moment, you know, the scouting team aren't quite understanding what I want. And he said, that's going to take time for us to work out each other's pages. But listen, if we had got everything we wanted in the summer, and yeah, I agree we needed to do more, we would have had 8, 9, 10 new players. So it's a little bit harsh, isn't it, Brian, to say it's criminal Thomas Frank didn't get a left back when he's not buying players.
What you've got to look at as well in respect to the left back position, going into this, like it or not, you had Ben Davies as left back cover. You had the possibility of Van der Ven being able to play there if need be.
Yeah.
You had God knows if Takai had been fit and ready and he can play on the left. So there were options there. We were stacked in whether the quality was good enough. And what I loved about Thomas Frank, and we hear other managers say it at bigger clubs or whatever, they go, if I can't get my number one player, I'm not going to spend the money on a lower option when I know I can try and waste it. We've spoken about Spurs so many times, wasting money, whether it be a big amount or a small amount, to just get a player in that position, as opposed to the right player in that position. And if we looked at it last season going into this window, like you mentioned earlier, there were so many positions that needed addressing where we didn't have cover. Like that right wing. Yes, Johnson could have gone there, but how badly had we needed a right winger like a Kudus that will take a man on, that will whip in quality. That was a necessity. Paulinho was.
This is the scale, isn't it? This is the scale. This is saying, right, we need this.
Yeah.
But what's the most important?
Yeah.
Right now, for me, where I think it was criminal, and I don't think this was Frank, because you could see we went for left wingers. I think it's criminal we didn't replace Son and get a left winger. That for me is criminal. Leaving yourself without a first choice player in a position, that's criminal.
Yeah.
At least, like you said, at left back, Thomas Frank can say, all right, for 6 months to a year, can I make do with Udogie, Spence, Van der Ven, David? Yes, I can make do with that for a season. Can I make do without a left winger for a season? That's where I think it's negligent. But I think we all agree we need another fullback, whether it's a right back, whether it's someone who can play right back and left back, whether it's just an out and out left back. We need more fullbacks.
Yeah.
But what I think we've got to get, Brian, is I think the next fullbacks we bring in, they need to be fullbacks.
Yeah.
Fullbacks, actual fullbacks, not wing backs.
Yeah.
Fullbacks. No excuses. The people that defend, that know how to play. I think there's some really good players dotted about. There are. They might not have the biggest, sexiest name. Fans might not like it, but I think there's some, like Rico, like you called it, Rico Henry at Brentford's a wonderful left back.
Take him in a heartbeat. And obviously knows what Thomas Frank wants to do in that position. It's like he walks into his first day of training. Yes, he's got to know his teammates and everything, but he'll be like, right, I know what I'm doing. Left back, yes, and just blend with the team. I think Rico Henry could be a one that we look at, or I hope we do, because he will do everything that we need. He will do everything that we need.
No, I completely agree with you. And this is where it comes down to, and it always does with Spurs, this is where it comes down to scouting. There are how many teams across the world? There are good players everywhere. You know, I watch a lot of the German league, Italian, Spanish, Dutch. When I watch a lot of these leagues, I was like, oh, he's a good little player. I don't know anything about him. Let me watch. Oh, he's good. He's got a good touch. He's got good. It doesn't automatically mean they're going to come into the Premier League and be amazing, but Brighton seem to find them. Bournemouth seem to find these players, right? You know what I mean? We can keep going. Let's be fair. Nico Williams, somebody said in the chat, Nico Williams at Forest, whenever I watch him, does a good, I'm not saying sign him, I'm just saying does a good job. I think we've got too many players, Brian, whether or not we're talking about Bergvall, Gray, Tell, Odegaard, Bentancur, Destiny. I think we've got too many that seem to have too many off days. And that tells me if players have too many off days, that they're average. Everyone can raise their level, but top players, more often than not, have good games. More often than not, the top players will have top games because that's their level as a footballer. So that's where I am with it.
Well, you also look at it as well, going into this window and then potentially the summer window, I think Spurs finally defensively, and when I talk defensively, we look at what we need in the transfer windows defensively, and you look at it, central defence right now, you could say we can leave it alone because obviously you've got VDV and Romero, you got Danso, in the summer you got Vuskovic, who is going from strength to strength, you got Ashley Phillips, you got Takai, who we haven't seen. God knows he could be a blinder. He may be, he may not. We are stacked. We got Dragushin coming back. We are stacked. For once, I think when we're looking at the defensive areas, it is fullbacks that is what we need to focus on. So hopefully Spurs do look at it and go, right, we need defense. We are covered. We have got some talent there. Now we need to focus on getting the fullbacks in.
Do you know what I think they'll do? Do you know what I think they'll do in the summer? I think it's really clear to see that Thomas Frank wants a left-sided centre-half that can compete with Van der Ven.
Yep.
I think what will happen is I think one of Dragashin or Danso will go. Now, I don't know which. I think one of them will go in the summer. And I think what will happen, because you've got the right-sided centre-half. You've got Romero.
Yep.
You've got Dragashin, Danso, and as you said, Vuskovic when he comes back from loan. Ashley Phillips is also a right-sided centre-half. You've got him as well. So I think what you might see in the summer is I think Phillips and another will go. I think Dorrington will go as well. I think Dorrington, Phillips, and maybe a Dragashin, I don't know, will go. And then I think what they'll do is they'll bring in one left-sided centre-half so that you've got Van der Ven and...
One sec. One second.
I'll talk to the chat. So then I think you've got Van der Ven and another who go left. I think you've got Romero and another that go right. And then you've got Vuskovic and Takai as young players to cover, depending on how good Vuskovic is and if he goes straight into the first team. That's what I think will happen. I don't know, but you can't just have 7-8 centre-halves. You're going to have to move some on. Phillips no one's wanted to give this guy a game for 3 years. He's young, but let's be fair. Everyone's going to say he's just massively behind Vuskovic. So where does that leave him? Dorrington, I feel like will be moved on. And then I think that we're going to buy I think the next two signings at the back will be a left back and a left-sided centre-half. Now, that will all be thrown into the mix. This will all be thrown out the window if something like that happens right now. Now, at the moment, he's captain. He signed a new contract, so there's no suggestion that he will leave. However, you never know, right? In transfer windows, you never know. I keep hearing that big clubs want him, but no big clubs actually bid for him. But maybe a big club comes in for him in the summer and he goes, yeah, that's too big a move for me to turn down. Barcelona, Athletic, I don't know. Maybe. But right now, I think the priorities are a left centre-half and a left back. That is where I think if we're looking at the defensive area, by the way, there's no point saying to me about a left wing or a midfielder. We're not talking about that. At the back, I think that is what will happen, depending on if one of the main players leave. And we always talk as fans as though no one's ever going to leave. But players leave, and that changes transfer plans. Yep. For example, just saying, Brian, if we woke up in the summer and we go, oh my God, Romero signed for Atletico Madrid or Barcelona, that now changes your transfer plans because you're now going, right, your captain's gone, your right-sided centre-half, your ball-playing defender, right. What do we do? Now, people will just go, and I had this debate with Lubo, oh, just Vuskovic will take his place. Well, what I've seen of Vuskovic, he's very different to Romero. He's not a ball-playing, bring it out, lovely passes through the line. He's more of a man mountain. He's more of a physical beast. It's not to say Vuskovic can't come in and get minutes. I'm not saying that. But that will change the transfer strategy, Brian. And I think sometimes as fans, we don't appreciate that we can set a transfer strategy. Right now, we could say, right, this is our plan for the summer. These 5 positions. However, a player gets sold. A player does a cruciate and is going to miss the season. James Madison. Suddenly, it changes every plan, doesn't it? It changes what you do.
Completely. And like I said, hopefully now, what I have loved is Spurs have mentioned, Frank's mentioned, Vinay mentioned, and so did Parachi, that they're having meetings already. We're not hearing that we're going to have meetings in January about what to do January. We will see what happens this window. This is the first glimpse to seeing what we're about, or what they are about, should we say. And it's going to be key for players like Romero to see that I've committed to this club. And let's see where this is going now. And like you said, transfer plans change all the time.
Sure.
Transfer plans change all the goddamn time. Please God, we don't. There could be another big injury that comes in before the January window to a key player, then that changes absolutely everything. Absolutely everything. The good thing with Radu coming back is I actually think for the time he's here, it gives Frank a huge possibility going to a back three, because that's where he is best. Yeah. That's where he is best. And I do think Radu is going to be a much stronger defender for us in this kind of defensive structure than he would have been under Ange's, because it's more rigid, more structured, more not obviously so high all the time. So I think Radu is going to be a welcome defender. No, he's an old school defender. He's like Danso.
He was a bad defender in a system that didn't work for him. Yeah. And again, as I say, I always feel that sometimes we just look at black and white. Do you know what I mean? And like when you watch Dragusin in a high line, you think, oh, come on, guys, come on, this isn't him. That's why I always thought when we signed him and everyone lost their mind, oh my God, we got him over Bayern Munich. I always said, it doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense because this isn't a Angepostecoglou type footballer. Do you know what I mean? And normally, I'm not a fan of that. What I mean by that is I want to buy good players regardless. But the problem is, right, when you've got a style of play that is as outlandish as Ange's was, that is so reliant on speed and pace at the back, I couldn't quite make the Dragusin, even Danso to a degree. I couldn't quite make it make sense. Now with Thomas Frank, you go, yeah, because we don't play on the halfway line and we defend our box more. So Dragusin, I think people will see is a good player. However, if all of these centre-halves stay, how happy is a Danso, Dragusin, Vuskovic? How happy are these people going to sit there and go, I'm just going to be second fiddle to Van de Ven and Romero for years and years and years?
Yeah.
I don't know. I genuinely don't know. And that's the problem, right? That is the problem. When people are going, Vuskovic will come back next year and be a starter. Fine. What if Romero and Van de Ven are both there? What does Vuskovic turn around and go, yeah, I'm happy to sit on the bench week in, week out? I don't know, Brian. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it, let's say we were, I mean, there'll be no shortage of suitors for Vuskovic because everyone is loving him. The greatest thing I love is I keep seeing Chelsea fans on Twitter saying, do you know what, we need to get that Vuskovic from Hamburg. And then all the Spurs fans are like, yeah, I don't think that's going to be happening because obviously he's on loan and he's ours. But there's a lot of people that keep going, oh, we should get, he's going to be very, very much in demand. So we will find a role for him. Obviously, we know who the front two. Before you go, if all defenders are fit, you know it's Van de Ven and Romero. It's clear as day. Not just because what they do individually, together they are building a very, very strong partnership. And I mean, I've heard loads of people recently going, oh, who's Thomas Frank developed? Who's Thomas Frank made better? Who's Thomas? Mickey Van de Ven. Mickey Van de Ven. We went into this season, the majority of fans were like, now we're going to find out if he's just a speed merchant that gets himself out of trouble and gets the team out. This guy is sliding tackles in the box, his timing of tackles, his runs, his goals, his leadership, everything has gone up levels with Thomas Frank. Other players need to reach that level, but he is, mate. He is
also he's getting the best out of Richarlison, which I didn't think was possible.
True.
Again, not a player I rate. Doesn't mean I want to keep him. By the way, when people saying it's a squad game, absolutely it's a squad 100%. Game. Think about it from two sides of view when you look at a squad game.
That's right? Warburton big up.
It's saying it's a squad game is great. Now, if I'm the manager, let's say I'm, let me use, I don't know this player's personality, by the way. This is just an example, right? This is just an example. If we turn around and say, Radu Dragusin, so he's going to come back fit this season, but then he has a good pre-season. He's fully fit, right? Radu Dragusin and his agent go in and say to Thomas Frank, I want to play this season. And Thomas Frank says, well, look, I've got, Romero and Christian and Mickey are my number one, my number two centre-half. They're going to play. You're going to have to wait your turn. I don't know. Maybe Dragusin. I don't know. I'm not knocking him. I don't know. Maybe he's the sort of character that says, yes, I will wait my time. I'll sit on a bench. That's absolutely fine. maybe he's the type of character that goes, you can F right off. I'm at that age. I need to play. I need to go somewhere where I'm playing week in, week out. And this is the thing where we don't understand footballers, right? Vuskovic may only be 18, but Vuskovic came out himself and said, I wouldn't play in front of Romero and Van de Ven. I wanted to go and play. So when fans are going, keep him, the player himself is saying, I want to play. I don't want to sit on a bench. If I sit on a bench, I stagnate. So this is where it's difficult for managers. This is where I think managers like Pep Guardiola are brilliant, because they are able to rotate top players who don't play every minute of every game that probably would at other clubs. This is now what Arsenal are having to find out. Arteta's now having to find out, oh shit, I've got Eze and Odegaard. Both want to play in the 10.
Yep.
What do I do? Oh, Eze, you're going to have to go to the left. Oh, why is he playing Eze on the left? He doesn't work there. He's dropped Odegaard. This is what managers have to deal with, Brian, right? And that's where I want Spurs to get to be in that position.
That's what we need to do. That is exactly where we need to be. And hopefully within time, in the next few windows, we'll start pushing and see that this is the direction the club wants to be in, or as we say, ENIC 2.0 want to be in. But yeah, we're going to have to see. I mean, I think Vuskovic saying, no, do you know what? I want to go out on loan on another season has been absolutely huge to Tottenham Hotspur. Has absolutely been huge. His development and going there and playing week in, week out and gaining. So he's gained in the Polish League, the Belgian League, now the Bundesliga. It's just a great education for him. And the only benefit...
Maybe he does next season as well, Brian. Maybe he does next season, because I know every Spurs fan, like, get him back. But he is still a teenager. And if Van de Ven and Romero are going to play every week, so I don't know the answer to it, Brian. I don't know the answer. It's a difficult one. Maybe we go to a back three and Vuskovic comes in and Romero right, Van de Ven left, and Vuskovic. But this is where I do think that this is what I love about football conversations. I don't think everything is just as simple as fans immediately think. There's a lot to add to it, right? There's a lot of what do I do? Who plays this week? He's like, I thought Van de Ven last week was the absolute casing point into fans not understanding things, right? So Mickey Van de Ven away at Newcastle is on the bench.
Great decision.
Right? Our fans, the first thing, no one sits back and goes, hang on, this is our fourth game in 10 days. Everyone goes, fucking hell, Mickey. And I'm thinking, well, this is the perfect game you bring in Danso. Newcastle like putting a lot of balls in the box because of Voldemort, right? Up top, right? Newcastle a physical team. These are all attributes where you go, well, this is what Danso is built for. Danso's built for that game, not the game where you have all the ball like you do against Brentford. But our fans, they lost their mind. They lost their mind. Oh, my God, he wants the sack. Why is he dropping? Like, whoa. Mickey Van de Ven, those hamstrings, I don't want a manager that says, yeah, he'll be all right playing 4 games in 10 days.
Yeah.
And I just think there's nuance. I just wish sometimes we take a little step back and go, why has this happened? Rather than our emotion of, oh my God, he's dropped him and he's not starting him. And because you're going to get it tonight, Brian.
Oh, you are. I mean, look,
tonight, you're going to get it.
You look at the Fulham game, obviously, Romero was suspended. So he obviously was having a rest that game because he just couldn't be selected. And the biggest concern we have, and he normally has pulled up by now with an injury, is Mickey Van de Ven. And the one thing it was like, right, have the night off, so it'll come up, be on the bench if needed. We didn't need him. We did not need him. But going back to Vuskovic as well, what we've got to look at is we're going to see him at very, very close quarters in the summer. He'll be playing against us in the World Cup. He could have a blinding World Cup, and then that could be like, right, you're going no. This is the other thing you got to look going into the summer window is going to be crazy because of the World Cup. Always is, isn't it? The time it gives you after the tournament to start buying, the prices could inflate or deflate. It's a mad injuries, a season-ending injury. So there's lots of moving parts to these next couple of windows, isn't there? But
Massive.
with Vuskovic will get a proper look at him at close quarters against us, but also however far Croatia go in the World Cup, because I'm sure he'll start the way he's been playing, or he'll definitely be going on the plane, that's for sure. So
he'll be on the plane. But again, as well, what I'm always careful of, and you know, what I'm really careful of this is saying, look, what I've seen of Vuskovic when I watched Hamburg, yeah, he looks good. There's some things I think he desperately needs to sort out, but he's 18. He's 18.
Exactly.
He's 18, right? I'll be honest, Brian, I don't care when people send me videos of him scoring goals, right? He's a centre-back. I genuinely don't take that and go, oh my God, he's a worldie. That's not what I'm judging him on. That, for me, if you've got a centre-half that scores goals, that is a bonus, right? For me, I'm watching him as a defender and powerful, strong, absolutely. Yep. For me, positioning at the moment needs to tweak that. He's 18. I'm not going to go, right? And also his interceptions. Sometimes I think he tries to intercept when he can't, right? Now, that's just me having watched Hamburg a few times this year and gone, okay, how good is this guy? But we've got to be careful, because what we do is we put these players up there. Right? We all desperately want to see them, but it's a huge transition from one league to another. It's also a huge transition to be able to do this week in, week out. Like, he might have a poor second half of the season. I'm not saying he will. He could have. Footballers have. Yeah. And then people start getting on his back. And, oh, is he as good as you think? I think we've got to let this play out. There's no rush. He's 18. There's no, the Spurs fans we want to rush it. Oh my God, there's no rush. But what I would say is, I just saw a comment that made me laugh like this, right? Now, I'm going to pick this comment apart. Thank you for putting it in. It's a good talking point. But we're talking about, first of all, Chelsea slapping down 200k a week. I mean, let's be brutally honest. Tottenham are not going to sell him to Chelsea. Let's first of all be brutally honest, right? But I get your point. Insert another club name. When we're saying the Spurs pathway to the first team is disgustingly, embarrassingly pathetic, let me ask you right now. Let's assume Vuskovic had stayed. What's his pathway to taking over Van de Ven or Romero? Right? It's all well and good about a pathway, but right now, if Tottenham Hotspur were starting Vuskovic and Van de Ven and Romero weren't playing, our fans would lose their mind, Brian.
Oh, they would. They would. Listen, you look at it, there's Danso, you would have had to get ahead of. Dragushin coming in, you'd have to get ahead of. One thing I will say with you about the scoring goals thing is going to be great for Thomas Frank and set pieces, having him in the squad. Absolutely. He's going to be an absolute weapon for us. Like not saying as prolific as Gabriel, but there is a guy you can focus your set pieces around completely with his strength and power. Yeah,
Brian, I wasn't saying it's not good that he's.
No, I know. I'm just saying. I'm just adding to you. I know.
Whenever somebody sends me a video, Lubo. Whenever somebody sends me a video of if you're sending me a video of Mikey Moore and saying, "Oh my God, look at this goal Mikey Moore scored," cool, because Mikey Moore's game, he's an attacking player. Yeah. When people are sending me videos going, "You see that Vuskovic goal? He's generational." No one's sending me videos of his defensive work.
Yeah,
no one's saying, "Oh my God, did you see this tackle? Did you see this man marking?" So, you know what I mean?
Completely agree. I mean, you just got to look at that lot down the road. They've got 4 great central defenders right now, haven't they? Whether it's Saliba, whether it's Gabriel, whether it's Mercutio or whatever his name is, and in Capier, they've got 4 great central defenders. That's what we need to get at. And have that strength in depth. He will be one that will obviously make his stamp in the Premier League. But like we said, him going on loan and having these loan spells are brilliant for him, but they're brilliant for us. They're brilliant for us.
Agreed. I'm happy where he is. Bundesliga, first team, leaving there. I've got no rush to. I know we're all very now, right? We're all. I need to see it now, but there's no rush. Our problem isn't at centre half, right? Right now, it's not like he's if he was built like that, playing up front and scored 12 goals in 12 games, you'd go, hang on, could we do with him back in the first team? Possibly, right? At centre half right now, you're looking at Danso, Romero, Van der Ven, Ben Davis as cover. Dragosin's back in training, right, and going to be fit soon. Takai's coming back. It's not really a big thing.
Yeah.
Xavi Simons.
Xavi
Simons. Let's talk Xavi Simons. Brian, I find it absolutely hilarious, right? 1 week, Xavi Simons, he's shit, he's weak. He's the biggest flop signing Spurs have ever made. What a waste of money. Told you wouldn't make it. Right. The week later, it's Xavi has to start. If Xavi doesn't start, Thomas Frank doesn't know.
Yeah.
I find it hilarious, honestly. But a good player, right? That needs time.
Mate, do you know what? I did quite a few watch-alongs in the first few games of his We Are Tottenham TV, and what I was impressed with Xavi was his defensive work. He was always getting back. Yeah. He's not afraid to put a tackle in. He's tracking back. He's putting tackles in. He's always putting his body on the line. He'll go in for a challenge, and that really impressed me. But then we had a few games where he was very, very poor, being the creative spark. But again, that was because we couldn't get the ball to him quick enough. Couldn't let him do what he needs to do. Jed Spence checking in and Paulinho and Bentancur passing sideways and backwards allowed the offensive team to get back into their position. On Saturday, we saw the complete performance. The amount of tackles he puts in. I mean, his goal even came from his own tackle, wasn't it? He made a mistake, got the ball, ran. I tell you what, that cross to Richarlison, the ball from Porro, Xavi doesn't even need to break stride. And the ball across is on a plate, just cut across the keeper and their central defence for a tap in for Richarlison. Everything we were doing was stemming through him. We got fed up of just hitting the ball out wide to Kudus and just going, right, you try and get past 5 people and then cross it in or whatever. There was a different avenue for creativity. We were going through the middle. We were going out wide. It was the perfect performance from him. Now, the stats have backed it up, haven't they? When he plays, we've lost 1 game. When he starts, we've lost 1. We've won a majority. He's needed time to get into the Premier League. Whether he left out because they wanted to do stuff with him in the gym, whether they had wanted to beef him up, whether they'd want him to have an intense course of training and physicality before he started playing. Newcastle away, with those players in midfield, your Joel Lintons, your Murphy, Ramsey, so you're not. These boys are very, very physical and very, very. Why I used to say, do you know what I loved Rafa van der Vaart, but I thought it was pointless playing him away at Stoke because he's one of these flair players that wants time on the ball, flicks and everything, and you just had Stoke crashing into you. He was perfect to come on as a sub. Xavi Simons needed a game like this to get into it. This will be a huge confidence booster to him. I think it's a huge confidence booster to Frank.
There's a lot of people saying, by the way, as well, that apparently Xavi, it's been difficult for him to settle. Like he was living out of a hotel. Apparently a house fell through and he now got the house and he feels more settled. But there's a lot of, whenever something like this happens, if you notice, we automatically berate the manager and go, see, he should have played, rather than say, well, hang on, maybe the manager's been working with him. Maybe the manager's thought, I need to work on this, and that. Maybe I need to get him in the right headspace. And then this is the perfect game to release him.
Yep.
To get confidence. I just think it's a shame that we always look to the negative side of it. Look, listen, I'll be surprised if Xavi doesn't start tonight. I think that if you are Thomas Frank, you turn around and go, listen, you see what you did Saturday? Yep. Just go and do it again. What I like about Xavi Simons, and this is the difference between when we're so reactionary about players not hitting the ground running, if you actually just watch him. Now, it's the same with a Florian Wirtz, by the way, right? If you take away the money and you take away the reactive nature of football fans, just look at their ability. Like when I watch Xavi Simons, whether he was playing well or not, you can tell he's got a lovely touch. He wants to, he's got that brilliant ability of low center of gravity to drop the shoulder, push into space. He wants to take players on. He draws free kicks. People are going, oh, he's weak. Well, we know he's not a big physical lad. We're not going to suddenly make him a 6-foot giant, but we've got to get the best out of him in the areas where he can hurt teams.
Yeah.
Now, I truly think that this is the sort of guy that next season the league will be talking about. Not Spurs fan. Next season, I think the league will be going, cool, that Xavi Simons is a top player. I just think he needs this first half of season to really settle in London, settle to the pace of the Premier League, realise that it's more physical. Also, he hasn't had a settled team around him. He hasn't had a settled team. Now, I think if we can start being a bit more settled, James Maddison, I don't know if you saw this last night, James Maddison was on Monday Night Football. And he said about Xavi Simons, he said he said in training, he's unbelievably skillful. Yep. He's unbelievably talented. And he said, the one thing I didn't realise when we signed him was how tenacious he was. So I didn't realise how tenacious he was and how much he works hard. And that's his fellow professional saying, God, yeah, he wants it. He said he wants to do well. He wants to. That's all the right signs are there, right, Brian, for him to have a good Tottenham career if we just give it a bit of time.
Yeah, I mean, also you got to look at it. When they come, I mean, the greatest thing with Xavi about settling into England is obviously he's fluent in English, which for any player going to any country in the world, if you're fluent in that language, makes life a hell of a lot easier. Yeah. But it's still getting used to a brand new city, bringing your family over. Is your family coming with you to stay? Your extended family, blah, blah. There's loads of stuff that goes on behind the scenes. But obviously as well, what helps him is he's got Mickey van der Ven there. So he's got a Dutch teammate there that can help him settle, can help him do everything, makes things a lot easier. This is why, again, when we were talking about Archie Gray, this is why I think Archie Gray, and I speak so highly about Archie Gray on the game, because we had the midfield and the players that allowed Xavi to get the ball and do what he needed to do. Xavi, all the players helped Xavi with what they had to do with their jobs to get him on the ball to do what he can do best. He definitely starts tonight. We saw him against Copenhagen. He ran the show against Copenhagen.
Yeah.
If there are any changes that Frank makes tonight, one of them will not be that Xavi Simons doesn't start. He will start tonight, without doubt. So. And do you know what? Players like him, you need to keep playing them. When they have these games, we've seen how even Sonny used to be like a streaky striker, didn't he? Once he got a goal, he'd go on 5, 6, 7 games where he'd just score non-stop and run the show. I fully expect Xavi Simons to have an absolute blinder tonight, and then again against Forest.
I hope so.
And you know what? Liverpool will be a massive game for him. The state Liverpool are in. I think Liverpool.
Listen, that's going to be an interesting one because they've got Inter Milan tonight, haven't they? Away, which is not going to be an easy game. Not at all. By the way, just Sky Sports are reporting that Xavi Alonso is under pressure at Real Madrid already. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you know why? Do you know why? This is so sad. I got told this by someone that was in Spain knowing about it. They're very annoyed with Xavi Alonso's very, very structured and regimented training program. There's a lot more relaxed with Carlo Ancelotti, and they're revolting because they're not enjoying the training and what they're doing. Even though they're doing well in the league or Mbappe's flying and everything, they're not happy with how training is going.
No, absolutely. And but by the way, I mean, Anthony, you know when I said that we look at the negative side of everything, I mean, you've just summed it up. Listen, James Maddison can say nice things without saying what he said about him being tenacious. He didn't have to say that. And if anyone knows anything about James Maddison, he's very, very down to earth and just says what he thinks. I think James Maddison, by the way, is going to be a perfect sort of person to replace a Neville or a Carragher in that type of football thing. But look, when you're saying it's all PR crap, I mean, Anthony, he didn't have to say, oh my God, he's really tenacious. He said he was really surprised. He said, look, he came in, I knew he was skillful, but I didn't realize how tenacious he was. And he said the Spurs fans are really going to like him. Not everything has to be negative, does it? Not everything has to be living in negativity. Footballer says this, it's PR crap. Manager says this, he doesn't mean it. Like we can't have anything nice in life because everyone is so we need negativity, bro. We need the negative.
It's today's society, brother. It's not just football. It's the world. It's the society we live in. That it's negativity and toxicity is more important to be spoken about than positivity and love and good right as opposed to bad. It's madness.
Yeah, like somebody says something nice about somebody else. Oh, I don't believe it. It's all It's like, listen, I get it, right? When managers are asked, right, about their own players, I get it, right? Managers can't come out. For example, when we see people go, oh, wait, look how nice Thomas Frank talked about Tell. Sure, it's his manager. The manager's not going to come out and go, no, he's not ready. He's not good enough. I didn't want to sign. He's not. He's going to use words that are, listen, he's one of ours. He's good for the future, right? But James Maddison last night didn't have to say that, but we can see, I think a lot of us are pleasant. I don't know about you, Brian. I'm pleasantly surprised with how tenacious he is.
Oh, very much so.
Lots of number 10s, they don't like that tracking back and the work. But that is the one good thing I've seen from him this season. Even when he wasn't playing well, you've seen that his work rate is there. He wants to track back. He wants to tackle. And as you said, Brian, that's how, that's how,
his goal came about.
That's how he scored his goal, right? He lost the ball, went and won it back, and then drilled past everyone. But listen, it's going to take time. He's a really good footballer, and I'm actually looking forward to seeing him linking up with Kulu, with Maddison. I think that will be, I think that will be nice. And a proper left winger. I think that will be really good.
Well, you look at Savva, you said it. I mean, like, the Brentford game was the first time we saw Xavi, Kudus, Richie and Mawani starting the game together. And there's so many people going, oh, Brentford was so poor. They were shit. That's why. It's like, no. They were shit because we made them look shit.
Oh, great.
But from minute one, from the first minute to the first whistle to the final whistle, do you know what I loved even more? In that second half, the amount of chances we created, and even we changed our tactics. We had more counter-attack. But the first 15, 20 minutes, the pressing and the chaos we were causing them by pressing and we changed our tactics. We didn't lose any of the attacking edge. And Xavi again was heart and soul of it. He will blossom into a wonderful footballer. He really, really will. I mean, you look at it. I heard someone talk about it. How many times did we see a Christian Eriksen put in tackles like that? Don't get me wrong, Christian Eriksen, fantastic footballer, through balls, goals, whatever. But you'd never see him do the hard work ever. Ever. He'd never put a tackle in.
I think again, it goes back to that thing, doesn't it? Like, everyone wants to see a good performance with attacking football. We see it, and then so many people, the first thing they say is, oh, yeah, but it was only Brentford. They were crap. And it's like, well, hang on. What about we were excellent and made them look crap? Like, it feels like there can never be anything nice now. It feels like everything's got to have that negative slant to it. If we win tonight 3-0, it will be, oh, yeah, but we only had, I'm just making this up. Oh, well, we only had 10 shots at home to Prague. It will be, there will always be a way of, like, we beat Leeds away. It was only Leeds. Have you seen how strong Leeds are at home?
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. I was saying that.
Leeds at home have just beaten Chelsea 3-1 and drawn to Liverpool 3-3. But when we won at Leeds, it was, it's only Leeds, they're crap. Well, no, they're not at home. They're not crap at home. It's a hard place to go. West Ham, right? We never win away at West Ham. But when we beat West Ham away this year, it's only West Ham.
And they were down to 10 men.
Right. We can never go with it. Listen, I'm not saying you ignore the bad things, but we can never seem to just go, yeah, good. I like that today. There's always Newcastle away. Everyone before the game, 3-0 Newcastle, 4-0 Newcastle. Yep. I'm on the show after the game, and it was, good point, but we were shit. And it was like, but you thought we were going to lose 4-0. And we didn't. We battled and we got it. So I feel like unless you're playing like Man City and winning every game 4-0 and sweeping everyone aside, no one's happy. But Brian, I do need to wrap up. I've actually got a call in the corporate world in 3 minutes. Before we do that, first of all, Terry O'Shea, thank you.
Thank you, Terry.
A coffee. You didn't say anything, but you just sent me a coffee. Very generous. The link is there. If anyone did want to buy me a coffee, you don't have to. It is what it is. Thank you very much. The super chats. Big up to Marios. Oh, Marios, the king of negativity. The king of the moment we concede a goal, Frank out. When we score a goal, nowhere to be seen. Big up Marios. Big up, Ben. Been a member for
Big up,
15
Ben.
months. Whoop to you, Ben. Thank you very much, my man, Kuva. Hope you're recovering well, my man. All the love in the world to you.
Big
So
up, Kuva.
props out for the lads, always. Big up to Savva and Brian. You asked me nicely, I'll send you a picture of my puppies. And whatever you want that to mean, Kuva, is up to you. Big up to you. Big up to the Big D. How you doing, man? Been a member for 19 months now. Thank you very much. So 1 or 2 changes. Consistency is key. Forest in 4 days. This is the problem, right? I think our fans are forgetting again. When they go, just play the same 11, we're playing every 3 or 4 days. It's a lot of football. It's a lot of football. Big up to you, Big D, and Paul Langley coming in with a super sticker. Really appreciate you as well. Dan, I agree with you. I've seen your comments down in the chat about looking at the negative, but it's not about Fergie. Look at the negatives because he's the manager. He's got to improve them. As Spurs fans, when we played brilliantly against Brentford, beat them, should have been 4-5-0, the first thing we don't need to say is, but it's Brentford, or Brentford was shit. Surely we can just say, yeah, that was a really good game. That there's a big difference to Alex Ferguson, who's paid millions of pounds, to very big difference. Football fans, we're allowed to be happy. We're allowed to be happy at times. Please, we are allowed to be happy. It's so negative out there in the world. It's so negative. Brian, thank you very much. I really appreciate you. Just going to see if anybody else is live in the Spurs community. What is it, 12 p.m.? Let's see, because I've got a call in 1 minute. Redirect. Who do we think is live? Is anybody live? I'm not going to send you to TalkSport. I can't see anybody live.
There you go.
I can't see anybody live. So I'm sending you absolutely nowhere. Brian, thank you very much. Really appreciate it, my man.
Pleasure, brother. It's good to be back on.
Yeah. Love you to bits. Love you all in the chat. Thank you for most of the sensible people. Take care. Much love. Guys, and if we win tonight, it's okay to say 3 unbeaten. It's all right. It's okay to say it. Take care. Much love. And as always, come on, you Spurs.
Plenty Spurs.